What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here. I want to talk to you today about debt management companies. They can be very valuable. I don't know if I've talked about them in previous videos. I've definitely talked about them at conferences and presentations before. And there has been one here in Chicago that I have used in GreenPath. I think it's called GreenPath Financial Wellness now, but it used to be GreenPath Debt Solutions or something like that. And they're a debt management company, and I'm not endorsing them or anything like that. I just know that they, I think, are a national company, so they have um, branches all around the country. Some social services groups have some of these things and or referrals to them, depending on where you are. A lot of these will now kind of work with you virtually as well because of kind of the environment. But debt management companies can be very valuable. I won't get into the all of the details of that, but what they do is they consolidate your debt, they close those lines of credit, they come up with a monthly payment so that you are going to be paid off within 5 years, and they will kind of have pre-negotiated lower interest rates. So usually it helps bring down the payment to a smaller payment. They do collect a fee on that. But usually it provides the client with one payment that might be lower than the total of the payments they're making right now. That one payment can be nice because it's something that they can just budget once, as opposed to sometimes if you've got 4, 5, 6 credit cards, you've got money going out all the time and you're really not getting on top of it. But this kind of gives you a certain window. So they're really helpful. What they will usually do is require you to work with a counselor when you come in to kind of do a budget so that they know that you can afford the payments and those types of things. And why I am bringing this up is that I think you should find a debt management partner, for the clients you work with. Now, if you're working virtually, you probably want a company that is virtual or nationwide, some of those things. And what I would say is that you could probably reach out to one of their financial counselors or debt counselors or budget counselors, those types of things, and kind of work with someone directly and kind of understand what they're doing and how much it costs and kind of the experiences they've had. Because one of the things that you might come across is, and in a lot of cases, especially when I first started, when you're working with people who are struggling, this is a service that might be really helpful for them. And it's maybe not a service that you've gone through yourself. So sometimes having them explain that process, kind of break it down, demystifying it for yourself. For me, when I started in this business, I actually had people coming in who already were working with debt management companies. And so that was kind of nice because that actually was the introduction to me on how they worked. And I got to see firsthand how happy people were with that process. I really kind of started thinking like, debt management companies aren't great. They're charging a fee for something that, they can do on their own. I was kind of biased against them. And for some people, I think you should do it on your own. But the debt management companies did such great work for so many people that I, started working with after they were working with the debt management company that I really started to understand that, hey, people can do this. People can do it yourself type of um, you know uh, finances, right? We can do DIY home repair or hot water heater replacement or whatever it might be. But most people don't want to DIY it, right? People want help. People want guidance and experience. That's why they're often coming to a financial coach like you or a financial professional. And so having that, connection, having that partnership so that when these situations come up and you start recognizing, hey, maybe you should think about debt management, one, you'll have a good understanding of it so that you can convey that and kind of break down any barriers or fears that they might have about pursuing it. Give them a good understanding of what to expect so that there's no surprises. Two, recognize, exactly kind of what that ideal client is for the debt management companies so that, you're not sending someone that it might not be a good fit for, right? Because you don't want to waste, the company's time, but more importantly, your client's time on it. And, third, you might be able to kind of get them connected directly as opposed to just hearing someone's situation and saying, hey, I think you might want to work with the debt management company. I don't have any referrals for you, or let me go and research some and get you some, and I'll email you some names, and then just kind of put it all on them to reach out and do that. If you have a connection with the company, maybe even a contact there, and you can say, hey, here's this person, and their number, and hopefully maybe you can even have 2 or 3 companies so that you can kind of give them some options so that they can kind of interview these companies themselves. Fantastic, even better. But what I don't like doing is just saying, hey, you should go out and get a debt management company to help you consolidate. You should refinance this into another loan. Hey, you should figure out a way to increase your income. These are the types of things where I think practitioners often throw out what we know but they don't know how to do it, and that's why people are with us. They're coming to us, they're hiring us because they're saying, yeah, I get it, I'm not making enough money. How do I make more money? How do I get promoted? How do I work with the debt management company? What do I have to do to go through debt counseling? Those types of things. And we should have that information, in my opinion. And so what ended up happening is, working with those clients, I got in touch with this company. I ended up talking to some people there. I still know some people that work there who have kind of risen to kind of management levels and some of those things. And so I have seen the power of people going through them. I'm not saying it's right for everyone, and I'm not saying that everyone that goes through it is going to be super happy either, because yes, you are going to be on the hook for usually about 5 years to pay off your debt. But for a lot of these people, just getting into it and starting that process and writing that first check, or paying that first payment to the debt management company to start satisfying these debts is a weight off their shoulders, kind of a mountain of stress that is relieved. And so this is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get people from struggling to stable to surplus. We're trying to get them to climb that financial ladder. And this is a time, if you recognize it, in a service, that might be a rung on that. And so let's not make it any harder than it needs to be to kind of cross that threshold, to take that next step, just by saying, hey, you should go out and do this. Let's try to have those resources so that we can take advantage of the motivation, the fire that they have right then, and to pursue the next option, the next step that's going to help them. So if you can, I would just Google debt management companies in your area, maybe reach out to them. I would check out LinkedIn, see if you have any connections there. And if you could put together, you might not have a ton of options, but if you could have three options, so that as you're listening to people, you might be able to say, hey, I think this one might be the best for you, but here's a couple other options, great. And then get them connected with it so that they can take those next steps. So find a debt management partner. And I think that will help you be ready to, address any of the needs that your clients might have. That's it. Talk to you later.